logical conclusion to a spectacular evening in Staples Center. Shane Mosley gets the split decision. A brilliant performance, particularly in the late rounds, as Mosley built the crescendo and gained the victory.
It was only 5 months ago when Shane Mosley took the welterweight crown away from the golden boy, Oscar De La Hoya. Along with that title came a complex set of hurdles, which can either vault Mosley to the highest peaks of stardom or lead him down to the lowest roads of despair and humiliation. Now that Shane has the title he wanted, can he handle the pressures that come with being the champion and being considered one of the 3 best pound-for-pound fighters in the world?
I think I want the prestige and the fame, but I don't know if at the extent of what De La Hoya has. It's great, but you want to have a life outside of boxing as well.
We love you, Shane.
Winning the biggest fight of his life in his home city of Los Angeles was especially sweet for Sugar Shane. He was thrown a victory parade. He was honored in the state legislature and even hit the stage in Hollywood.
Please welcome world champion Sugar Shane Mosley.
Shane Mosley's new level of popularity and exposure have put him on unfamiliar ground, a position that for some fighters has helped create new avenues of success and popularity in the singing and rapping industries, a platform which has created national heroes, but one which can also trap a man who doesn't anticipate the temptations and troubles that come with easy money.
Maybe you get caught up in the hype of people telling you how good you are and how great you are and you know, this and that. It could be a burden depending on how you handle it. And I think that some people get it and never had it and just spend it and lose it. And then they're back where they started. As the prestige gets greater, you know, it becomes hard to trust a lot of people.
Shane's strategy for keeping those problems at a distance is to use his family as a shield and a sword, a system with an indifferent history in the boxing world.
I'm his father and the manager and the trainer, so it makes it easy. But other fighters, you know, they'll go get a manager, trainer, and everybody's in a different household or something, you know, a different entity, if you will. And then when you bring it all together, and if it's not flowing smoothly, then you have a problem, chaos.
Although the victory over De La Hoya has filled Sugar Shane's pockets with fresh money, he insists his newfound wealth won't affect his focus or change his mild-mannered persona.
For me, it's not worrying about, you know, the next time I'm going to eat, and not worrying about, you know, the price of the gas or car or whatever. I can kind of do what I want to do.
In fact, Mosley feels this new level of celebrity and fanfare have not taken him off his intended path. The newly minted superstar insists he's taken all of it in stride and is continuing to stay with the things that got him to this point.
I think I'm the same in a lot of ways, but, you know, maybe I do have a little more confidence in, you know, the things that I do. It's just, this is just what I want to do, you know, this is boxing.
Shane loves boxing, and this is what they didn't understand. It's not, I mean, money comes with it, but it's not the money, it's the love of the art. That's Shane.
That seems to be the ongoing key to Shane Mosley's success. He continues toward his goal of being the best fighter in the game and letting the spoils of victory pile up behind him. As long as Sugar Shane keeps racking up impressive victories in the ring, there is no limit to how brightly his long dormant star can shine. Time to emerge as a superstar. 4-inch reach advantage for Mosley, those deceptively long arms, which also gave him a reach advantage against De La Hoya. They both weighed in a half-pound under the welterweight limit tonight on our unofficial HBO dressing room scales. Mosley is at 155 and Diaz 2 pounds heavier at 157. Punch that numbers, Larry.
Here's a look at how active these fighters are. You can see that Diaz, who will come forward and try to smother Mosley, throws more punches. And here are the power punches. You can see that both of them throw a lot of them, but Mosley again is the more accurate puncher.
Rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, Honey Bear Harold Letterman.
The Sugar Shane Mosley Antonio Diaz fight is scheduled for 12 rounds using the unified rules of the Association of Boxing Commissions. There is no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. Now, here, the next rule, Jim, we had a little bit of a controversy. Chairman Mel Sutter told us that only the referee can stop the fight, but Doctors Billy Lathan and Barry Jordan said that under New York law, the doctor can stop the fight. In either case, if the referee is told by the doctor to stop the fight, he's going to stop it. And you cannot be saved by the bell in any round, including the 12th and final round. Jim.
And here comes Antonio Diaz. Born to fight. He comes from a family in which he and 3 brothers have all been professional fighters. A younger brother, Julio, is an unbeaten potential contender at 130 pounds right now. And he's trained by a tough, cagey old veteran named Lee Espinoza, who had a son who defeated both Shane Mosley and Oscar De La Hoya when they were little kid amateurs at ages 11 and 12.
And Antonio said an interesting thing to us yesterday, which was that if he was fighting someone regarded as the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world whom he had never met, he might be over-impressed or anxious or too curious. But since the families have known each other so well, they just live 75 miles apart, east of Los Angeles, he doesn't think that will get in his way of attacking Mosley.
Larry, didn't Shane Mosley say the same thing about fighting Oscar De La Hoya?
Absolutely.
Amazing. Tonio, as he calls himself and as his buddies call him, is 33-2. Those 2 losses came early in his career when he was really in tough against good fighters in Southern California. 25 straight wins, as Larry told you. 22 of his 30 wins by knockout. There's a temptation to cast this fight as Slugger Diaz against Boxer Mosley, but Mosley can slug a little, and Diaz can certainly box. Antonio coming in with big wins against Ivan Robinson and Mickey Ward. His trainer Lee Espinoza wanted him to box and move against Ward, but he decided after a few rounds to just stand and trade with Mickey because he said, "I never had so much fun in a fight." And here comes Sugar Shane, who likewise has fun when he fights. You can see it on his face.
He's like a shaft of sunlight in the swamp of boxing.
Hey, George, you've proven the importance of a great smile to your relationship with the public. This fighter has the most electric smile in the sport.
There you go, kid. There you go.
His trainer, manager, dad, Jack Mosley, at his shoulder as he goes in. There have been a lot of father-son relationships like this that didn't work well. If there's a paradigm for one that does work, this is it. And who can forget that moment between rounds 6 and 7 in the De La Hoya fight when Jack Mosley looked at his son and said, "Hey, you waited a long time for this. Why don't you loosen up and throw some punches?" It was one of the turning points in the fight. The record for Sugar Shane as a lightweight and now as a welterweight: 35 wins, no losses, no draws, 32 wins by KOs. Stellar record, as you can see at the bottom, in title fights in the 2 divisions. And as you watch this telecast, we remind you, you can log on to www.hbo.com/boxing to chat and score every round, to listen to live audio transmission of both fighters' trainers, and to answer our website question. The website question for the evening: who's the best pound-for-pound fighter in boxing today? The 4 listed candidates you see there: De La Hoya, Mosley, Jones, and Trinidad. That list was comprised from a survey of 3 independent, prominent boxing writers. Larry, George, and I didn't provide those 4 names. You can write in somebody else if you think the best pound-for-pound fighter is not listed there. We'll provide the results later in tonight's telecast. Now let's go to ring announcer Michael Buffa for the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the theater here in Madison Square Garden, New York City, USA, Cedric Kushner Promotions, in association with your undisputed, undefeated king of beers, Budweiser, always proud to be your bud, present HBO World Championship Boxing, 12 rounds for the welterweight championship of the world. Sanctioned by the New York State Athletic Commission and the World Boxing Council. The 3 judges assigned to ringside scoring this bout on the 10-point must system will be Tommy Kazmarek, Sid Rubenstein, and Fred Ucci. And when the bell rings, your referee in charge of the action, Boxing Hall of Famer Arthur Mercanti Sr. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the sold-out theater of Madison Square Garden and for the millions around the world watching on HBO, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing brown trimmed with gold and weighing in at 146.5 pounds. His professional record an outstanding 33 victories, including 22 knockouts with only 2 losses and the world title belt at 140 pounds. He comes here tonight, ready and able to shock the world. From Coachella, California, ladies and gentlemen, the challenger, the reigning IBA Super Lightweight World Champion, Antonio Diaz. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing black trimmed with gold. He also weighed in at 146.5 pounds. His professional record, a perfect one. 35 bouts, 35 victories, including 32 knockouts, and he is rated by Ring Magazine as the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world today. Ladies and gentlemen, from Pomona, California, presenting the former lightweight world champion and the reigning, defending, undefeated welterweight champion of the world, Sugar Shane Mosley.
Good evening, Shane, Antonio. You both know the rules. Shake hands now. Come out boxing at the bell, and good luck.
Good luck, guys. Good luck.
Arthur McCanty Jr.
Senior.
Thank you, Jim, who is 80 years old, has refereed the fights of Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Leonard, and now Sugar Shane Mosley.
Certainly the only referee to hold that distinction. A 3 Sugar ref. Now, of course, there haven't been too many 80-year-old referees at championship fights either, but Mercanti Sr. at age 80 is still, George, pretty good referee.
Yeah, old ain't old after all. 80 ain't nothing. Now,
I'm happy to hear that.
Diaz has got to make certain that he gets in there and win every round. You're going to take a man's title, you can't coast for 1 round. Mosley's speed and defense have gotten him here. He's got to keep that defense and speed going. Don't start reaching out, proving that you're pound for pound. Let the fight come to you.
Shane Mosley is quick, but he's no will-o'-the-wisp who stays away from you or runs from punches. Mosley fights flat-footed much of the time, wiggles his upper body to create movement, but wants to be there to punish you when you miss.
He's already started off as he normally does with a taller opponent. Hits them with those left hooks when they think they're going to receive jabs in the beginning. It shakes you up for a few minutes in the round. It takes you a minute to get your focus back. He's already done that with Diaz. There's a couple more.
Yep, good 1-2 from Mosley, followed by the double left hook.
Some guys like a left jab, but this guy really likes to get in there with hooks.
Loves to start his offense with hooks, and he's so quick with the hook, George. And equally quick with the follow-up right, as you saw there. Mosley bedeviled De La Hoya with the right hands over De La Hoya's left, and he has slowed down Diaz here in the first round with the same punch.
You know what he does? Nobody's watching. He slips his right foot in front of him into a southpaw position when he's close to an opponent, and that's why he's able to get that right hand in a double fashion.
New York boxing writer Tony Page went through a workout last week where he told me Shane Mosley spent 60% of the time in a southpaw stance.
And what you want to do is do it when the guy can't see it.
Mosley went southpaw several times against De La Hoya to help nullify De La Hoya's left hook. He didn't do a lot offensively out of it, but he was able to slow down De La Hoya part of the time by adopting that stance.
And Diaz, he's fighting a guy who knows he's not going to get you with one shot. So you got to be careful because he reserves a lot of energy intending to get you as the fight goes on.
Mosley quickly back to the southpaw stance, goes to the body, then switches back to conventional, fires 2 punches in combination. Antonio Diaz got off to a pretty good start in the first 30 seconds, but simply has not been able to keep up in round 1 with the rapid-fire offense of Sugar Shane Mosley.
Round. Just continue in that manner. Continue. Look at me. Continue to relax, and you'll find the body shots a little more.
Yeah, try to get the body shot to him.
Okay, just relax. You know, it's the first round. You got, you know, several more rounds to go. Just relax. Start working on that body.
¿Qué pasó con esas movidas que va a hacer? ¿Sabes lo que tienes?
You know what you got to do? We told you. If he holds you, punch him. Don't show no respect to him. Don't show no respect. You're a good fighter. You're stronger than he is. But if you stay there, he's too quick.
No tiene que aguantar eso. Las manos arriba.
Keep your hands out. He's afraid of you.
First round, the clinic by Mosley. Clinic including that lead quick right hand. Every time you see Mosley, it's like you're seeing from him for the first time all over again. It's always a revelation.
In round 1 by CompuBox numbers, Mosley 23 out of 57, Diaz only 7 out of 39, and you heard trainer Lee Espinoza saying, don't show him so much respect, because Diaz seemed dazzled by Mosley midway through the first.
Not so he's dazzled because of the speed. A lot of things are happening, and you don't have to see a lot of action. This man is dynamic, even as he's standing in front of you. Sometimes these boxing give an odor of speed. One time you miss them and they hurt you and you're afraid to miss them.
Well, if the 2 top fighters in the sport are Shane Mosley and Roy Jones Jr., as most polls now say, both are blindingly fast for their weight class, much faster than most of the people they're going to fight. Tremendous combination by Mosley out of the southpaw stance, switches back conventional, and Diaz goes back to his offense.
Just as a footnote, Jim, I would put Trinidad in that class as well.
Diaz has got to concentrate on throwing more than one shot. Take the power off of him. You can't hit him with a power shot. Moses too fast, but you can get him with one shot, one shot, one shot, constantly throwing one after another.
Diaz eats a right hand, retaliates with the left hook, busted Mosley across the chops with it. Shane can take a punch pretty well in addition to delivering them. In fact, Shane Mosley, when I say he can take a punch pretty well, he's never been down as an amateur or a pro, and Diaz is down right now. And that's the first knockdown ever of Antonio Diaz in his professional career.
Wait around and not doing anything, it can happen again. Keep yourself busy, and Shane Mosley is not going to take any chances. Just stay busy and fight your way out of it. But if you stand and wait, he's going to get you.
Mosley jabbing, 1, 2, 3, super quick.
And super hard, Jim. Those are not feel out jabs.
Mosley's dad told him to go to the body of Diaz because this guy is strong and he can get stronger as the fight goes on.
Every time Diaz tries something, Mosley retaliates by doing the same thing better. Diaz wanted to go to the body. Mosley double left hooked him to the body. Diaz wanted to start using his jab. Mosley popped him 5 straight times with the jab.
Stop!
Discouraging. So Antonio Diaz tastes canvas for the very first time in his professional career. 36th fight for Diaz.
That was a push.
He pushed you. He's stronger than you.
Pero tú lo estás dejando.
You're letting him get off, Tony.
Muy exciting.
Toño, come on. Toño, usted le gana ese vato.
You can beat that guy. Just listen to us. We came to win.
Así no va a ganar.
We're not going to win if you don't listen.
Tienes miedo, Toño.
If you're afraid.
Look at the knockdown after landing a number of clean lefts and rights, jabs and crosses, shots to the body. Diaz goes down. I can't say it was from just the force of a big shot. The punch landed on the shoulder, caught him a little off balance.
CompuBox numbers through round 2. Shane Mosley has launched 43 power shots. That's 43 punches, which are other than the jab, crosses, hooks, body shots, and landed 27 of them. That's 63%. Piling up an early lead on the scorecards.
Diaz has got to get busy, stop standing back there waiting. Whenever he's busy, Mosley doesn't do anything to hurt him. When he stops and stares, bob and weave, that's when Shane takes a pot shot.
So Diaz, who averages over 60 punches around when he's rolling, needs to build toward that tempo.
Yeah, even if you're missing him, you got to throw shots, because if you're not, he's concentrating on getting you. Even when you knock him out of the way, stay right on him with a little shot.
Hard right cross from Mosley, who countered a Diaz left.
He's waiting again,
and another right hand shot for Mosley.
Now you see, you may miss him, but make him cover up and get out of the way.
Now that was a good moment for Diaz, who decided to just launch and fire and rocked Mosley back a little bit.
Diaz cannot wait for accurate, trying to land a punch on the guy's chin or head. Just throw shots, and the accuracy will even come on its own. You don't wait for a good aim. Now you're doing good. Now he's doing good.
He's starting to fight him the way he fought Mickey Ward. Just unloading and keep coming.
Yeah, don't worry about landing the shot. Just throw it anyway. When you throw a 1, 2, 3, you automatically come back in defense. Your defense is there.
Antonio Diaz starting to find himself a little bit midway through round 3.
But you can't stop and stand there, because this guy's going to make you pay for standing there. Now he's got him. He's just got to throw shots.
Mosley out of the southpaw stance, fires a left cross, now switches back conventional. Diaz with a long right hand and rocks Mosley back into the ropes.
When he's in the ropes, he can't move away. He can't do anything, so keep throwing shots.
Antonio Diaz showing you his guts and courage as he tries to walk through the meat grinder, which Mosley has been in the first 2 rounds.
He's got to keep busy. He can't stay there and wait. Once he waits, he gets it.
Mosley looking for those moments when Diaz slows down and stops punching. That's when Shane fires his matchless combinations.
Diaz has got to be throwing shots at all times.
Yeah, he can't walk in without throwing. He's got to throw as he walks in.
But keep busy. You don't have to worry about hitting Shane Mosley. You can't hit him. He's fast. Keep something on him. And Moses better start trying to think about a straight right hand now and stop curling and hooking.
Double left to the body by Diaz. Mosley comes back with 2 right hands upstairs. Crowd loves it. And Lee Espinosa comes into the ring, shaking his fist and yelling for Diaz, saying, yeah, that's what I want to see. Fight him.
He knows his best chance.
Fue todo lo que dio el güey. Talk, Lee, talk. Fue todo lo que dio.
He's all yours now. That's all he's got. He's all yours now.
El agua puedes tomarla, hijo, no te preocupes. El agua es buena. Tonito, así como trabajaste este round, tienes que trabajar todos los rounds.
Okay. Don't get over anxious. Just relax. Set it up. You're doing great. Okay? This is the, what, third round? I just went past or something like that? Okay. Just continue what you're doing, but relax. Don't get in a rush. Jabbing. Some 1-2s like you've been doing. But roll out. Don't pull back. Step over with them body shots like you've been doing. You gotta bring it down to the body. And use your body. Don't tighten up.
A seemingly dazzled and intimidated Antonio Diaz suddenly woke up in round 3 and threw 70 punches in the round, landing 22 of them by CompuBox numbers. Mosley 23 out of 56, but Diaz with 18 lands of power shots to 14 for Mosley. So suddenly Antonio Diaz is alive in the fight. And Harold Letterman, how do you score it through 3?
Okay, Jim, I got it 2 rounds to 1, 29-27, Shane Mosley. I thought he easily won the first 2 rounds. Give him an extra point for the clean knockdown, but in round 3, Antonio Diaz banged the body, walked him down, and Shane Mosley was right in front of him. I thought Diaz won that 3rd round. So it's 2-1, 29-27, Mosley.
I have it 3 rounds to love.
Now let's see how much energy Diaz has for the 4th after having worked the way he did the second half of the 3rd round.
Now, Mosley is the most effective shot on those short left hooks. Diaz has got to be careful about accumulating too many of them, because when he comes back with the right, your head is dizzy from the left hooks.
Break.
He makes you think you're not being hurt, because he'll hold you and move around like a slugger, but then he'll come in with that right hand and drop you on your seat.
Diaz, by his own admission, sometimes goes into a lull in the middle of the fight. Rounds 4, 5, and 6 are challenging for him because he loses energy in the middle portions of the fight, then has to rebuild his tempo toward the end. And he has not been as quick here in the 4th as he was in the 3rd. Mosley lands a left hook, rocking Diaz back just a little bit. Good left hook to the body by Diaz, just missed with an uppercut.
Oh, that hook again, there they are.
And a hard right hand by Sugar Shane. And now Diaz on the defensive as Mosley rocks him into the ropes. And they trade shots to the delight of the crowd at the Madison Square Garden Theater.
There he goes with those hooks, and then when he comes back to the right, your balance is so off that he can actually crash you down. It works better for him than a lead left jab.
All right, break. Shut back. Box, let's go.
Now he's hitting him right in the chest with his left jab, Shane Mosley. That's when a guy's got his courage and confidence at the highest, when he jabs you in your chest.
Hard right hand by Diaz, landed against Mosley's chin. Antonio trying to put some movement together. Mosley punctuates the round with the right hand over the top.
Hold in that, Doc.
Okay.
Doc.
Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. No. Okay, look. Continue to go to the bottom. That is affecting him.
Try to put his head forward so I can't.
I know. Step over to the side. Take this hand. Put it right here. Step over there. Save his hand.
Mira, 1-2, púchelo. 1-2, Toño, 1-2.
The quickness of Shane Mosley's hands is expressed usually with that lead right hand. That's the punch that gave De La Hoya so much trouble. And it's the punch that Diaz just can't see coming.
Now you heard it. So
Go back.
Some kind of disturbance in the arena momentarily, but now everything is cool as the bell sounds, and round 5 of a scheduled 12 in the Madison Square Garden Theater. Packed house. Did the star power of Shane Mosley sell out the theater at Madison Square Garden, or was it the arrival of Camacho Jr. on this card?
In fact, it's more than a packed house. They're standing in some aisles here. this might have gone into the big room and drawn a few thousand more people.
Could be a positive statement on the public appeal of Sugar Shane. And I'll tell you, that smile is going to mean something the longer he's at the top of the sport.
You mentioned about that right hand, Larry. It can't happen unless he gets in those 2 left hooks. That's what get the guy balance off, and he's able to crush in with it.
Well, you got to be conscious of his left hook because, George, as you pointed out,
that's 2 of them. Now he's coming with the right sooner or later.
As you pointed out, Mosley's propensity for leading with the left hook can keep you off balance.
Now that was at the end of a combination. It wasn't that lead. But you're right. If you keep seeing that left hand in your face all the time.
It's the hook. It's the hook that makes the guy on the side of the ear. That makes the guy balance goes off so he can zero in the right. He can't even do it good with a left jab. There's the hook again.
Good left to the body by Diaz. Missed upstairs. Diaz willing to take one to give one. Mosley turns away as Diaz rakes him across the face with the left hook.
Moses just a little discouraged right now. He's landing some good shots. And this guy gives you some more. Just a little discouraged, although he's playing now, but he's a bit discouraged.
Right hand to the body.
That's what his dad has been asking him to do all night. Throw to the body. Go to the body.
You can see Shane working to try to set up the right hand.
Sometimes you can scout a fighter like Shane Mosley and understand when he's hit you with 2 hooks, go back on him with your right hand because he's coming with his right hand.
But all the scouting in the world won't slow down that speed.
Oh, that's the way you scout him. You can beat anybody, Jim. You got to scout him and fight him. So every fighter can be beat.
Wait, the way we say it down in Texas, George, is ain't a horse that can't be rode or a fight or a rider who can't be throwed.
Amen. You just got to scout him and you got to do what you can do and don't try.
Low blow by Mosley after Shane had popped Antonio twice in the face with the left jab. Interesting round.
Him down. Okay. You don't have to be like a whole lot of blistering punches to the body, but a shot here.
Yes, I was trying to get in, but put his head down first.
Okay, but when I say, what did I say? Move his head out the way. I step over.
Okay, this is the halfway of the fight. We don't have a chance unless you put it up.
Mr. Mosley, you got to get out.
5 rounds of a scheduled 12. Shane Mosley, by CompuBox numbers, 119 out of 278. Antonio Diaz has thrown almost as many punches, 268, but has landed only 66. So Mosley's quickness and accuracy, the differences in the bout to this point.
Mosley's discouraged because he's not able to get in the body shots that his dad is telling him to do. Because Diaz is a solid fighter as far as the defense of his hands,
all right, come on, let's go.
elbows around his waist. And you just can't throw something because someone tells you to do it.
He's a well-schooled fighter. This trainer, Lee Espinoza, is my choice as the sort of underground star of training in the sport. His fighters can fight. Another knockdown. Another right hand.
5, 6, 7.
And remember, these are the first 2 knockdowns of Antonio Diaz's entire career.
His head is not clear at all.
That was a real solid knockdown.
And it was something I didn't think that Shane Mosley had because he threw a left jab.
Blinding speed. Can Diaz recover against this? Mercanti Sr. staying out of the way, letting Mosley do his work. Plenty of time left in the round.
Every time we've been at a fight with Shane Mosley, people have stood up in awe of what they were looking at.
And there's the 3rd knockdown of the fight. And again, it was a right hand.
And he made a very, very tough fighter say no mas.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And that is no second-rate opponent.
This was a solid fighter. He had to reach, go down deep, get a lot of energy to do that one.
Not today. Here. I'm sorry, son.
It's all right. It's all right. A couple more punches.
So a technical knockout for Shane Mosley. The stoppage by the most experienced referee in the sport. And Mosley, against a very good opponent, closes the show, landing 22 of 34 power shots by CompuBox down the stretch. Let's take a look at a couple of angles, George, of the first knockdown and talk about how Shane sets up the right hand.
He did it with a straight jab sort of a punch. He didn't do it with the hook. That's just surprising. He has something in the repertoire I didn't know. There it is, right on top of the head.
Now here's the second of the two knockdowns in this round.
This was just pure power. You don't hit guys on top of the head like that and knock them down. He's got power. Something you only see in the heavyweights. Watch as he does it on top. Out. That's power. They tell you to go for the chin, leave the top of the head alone, but this guy has power no matter where he hits you. That weight division is clearly understood. He has power.
Shane Mosley. And his father's thrilled with the knockout because Jack Mosley was a little sensitive coming in about people saying Shane didn't have enough punching power. He said, you'll see. Michael Buffer with the official particulars.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Arthur Mercanti Sr. calls a halt to this bout. The official time, 1 minute, 36 seconds of round number 6. The winner by knockout victory and still the reigning and defending undefeated welterweight champion of the world, Sugar Shane Mosley.
He's smiling.
It is sweet.
He's smiling.
I'm telling you, George, outside of yours, it's the best smile in the sport.
He can beat me because he's getting paid.